Right. What's going on, everybody? Zerse here, and today I'm with my good friend Magnus Deacon, and we're just gonna sit
Yes, sir.
here and shoot the shit about male virgins. About if you haven't seen it, there's an old video I made. Well, it's pretty recent, where I was talking about male virgins on SRS men, and Magnus wanted to discuss this topic because pretty sure we can go in depth, and it's a good conversation to have. So, Magnus, go ahead and take the floor.
Well, now, personally, where I get hung up on male feminists griping about being virgins at 40 years old is the fact that these guys don't seem to understand there's a very, very fine line between respecting women and being just downright damn afraid of them, which they're more afraid of women than they actually are, you know, respectful of women, as it were. I mean,
No, no, go ahead, keep talking.
no, I was going to let you throw in there too, but
No, I completely agree. That sounds completely reasonable. Especially the way you see them talking about women, about the paralyzing amount of fear they have when they just want to go approach women. You know, it's not even a difficult task, and yet in their mind they put so much pressure on themselves that I can do nothing but completely agree with that analysis. That it seems there's more fear and reverence of the female form than there is a respect of a human individual that quite frankly wants some dick too, you know? Like one of the most interesting things I find about even chatting with women is you just got to realize, you know, they do want men. You know, you can't sit here and pretend that they don't. And yet these male feminists just beat themselves over the head about trying to, you know, quote unquote respect women when really it's not respect at all. It's just paralyzing amount of fear because you know, you pretty much put this woman in such a high place in your life that you feel like you can never even approach her or even get on her level.
well, and the funniest thing is, like, you've probably heard on some of my past hangouts, my mom was a feminist back in the 70s. If I ever acted around her the way male feminists act around modern feminists, she would chew me a new ass. She don't want me mincing my words or, you know, being careful what I say and where I step just because she's a woman. I mean, I would literally get made fun of by my own mom if I acted like that.
Yeah, which is a pretty interesting thing that I've noticed about the way feminism treats men. You know, on the one hand, they absolutely require men to get all the shit done. I mean, it's pretty much just a bunch of complaining at this point, and then men just do. Right? Even if you look at the he for she campaign, you see they're really more lapdogs than they find an individual that actually, you know, wants to help them or care about them. And you can even take it a step further in the way feminists talk about the friend zone, and the way feminists talk about male female relationships, how men are entitled and how men don't actually care about women and just want to use them for sex. It's, you know, I mean, I think we all have come to the conclusion that a lot of feminists don't really view men or like as human beings, but as just things that they need in order to get more power, you know?
Well, and for any man worth his salt, there is no such thing as the friend zone. I can
I
promise you
mean,
that. And I
yeah, for the
learned,
most
see,
part.
here's what I've learned about the friend zone. The friend zone is populated by mostly male feminists who are that stereotypical beating off in their dark bedroom while crying and listening to How Soon Is Now by the Smiths. But for any man that understand when you express romantic interest in a woman and she says you are allowing thrown in the friend zone, how hard is it to just say, well, no, I have romantic feelings for you. If we're not going that way, I can't be around you, because
No, yeah, I
you're
think
capitulating to torturing yourself if you let her throw you in the friend zone.
no, I completely agree. I say, you know, you got to rip that band-aid off and let it burn, man, because it is torture, especially if you really genuinely care about the other person. You know, you're gonna have to spend time, maybe come back and be their friend later in life after you find a new girlfriend or something. But no, you're right, Magnus. If you sit there and just fester in all those emotions, and then you see her, you know, go have sex with some other guy that treated her like shit, that's gonna hurt you even more. Because then you're gonna
Yeah, and
sit
then
there and be confused as to how in the hell, am I doing everything she wants me to do, and then she's with this
Well,
asshole over here, right?
exactly. And then you're like, well, the problem is, and here's why I find the whole PUA thing entertaining, because they, as they're out for two things. They're out to sell their product, which is teaching men how to get laid, and they're out to, give guys not all the information they need, but just enough to get by and improve their quote unquote game. Which I don't blame them. They're out to sell the product. Fine. That's how they make their money. I mean, everybody's heard of Julian Blanc and Roosh V, and God, there's a myriad of them out there. I've seen their videos all over YouTube.
Yeah, just the other day I watched this one Australian guy talk about the art of seduction. And I'll tell you one interesting thing. Pickup artists, they aren't as sleazy as a lot of people would say they are. They some of them actually have pretty good advice. I mean, I think the only thing that ever really bothers me is they only ever talk about just having sex. They didn't really ever talk about complex relationships. It's just get in, get out. But as far
Well,
as confidence, go
now
ahead.
there are a few that bill themselves as relationship coaches.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
I've actually seen a few of those videos. There's one, if your viewers want to take a look, is a guy by the name of Coach Corey Wayne. He bills himself as a relationship life instructor or something like that, and he's pretty decent. I mean, he's not just talking about getting laid. What his thing is, and what a lot of PUAs are really selling, is their insights into how women actually respond to men, and why they say they want this and then respond to that. They say they want the nice guy, but they respond sexually to the assholes.
Yeah.
And that if I was going to tell anybody to watch PUA videos, it would be just to flick through the turds to get to those gems of why do women say they want the nice guy, go for the assholes.
No, yeah,
And
I agree.
that's the most helpful thing to learn. Like, here's the funniest part. Now, you know I'm MGTOW. I make no bones about it, but I'm not one of the crazy ones that just got burned and now he hates women. I just went MGTOW one day, like, okay, I'm sick of dealing with relationships. I want to focus on me and what I'm doing. That made my sexual market value skyrocket. Just because I changed my attitude from I really want a relationship, I really want a girlfriend, to just, you know what, it's not worth the hassle. I'm just going to quit. Once that happened, it's like my sexual market value skyrocketed. And don't ever think for a second, guys, this is mainly for the men, don't ever think for a second that your looks play that big a part. You can be fat, you can be not that great looking. None of that actually plays a major part in how women are attracted to you. That is another thing the PUAs will tell you, and I know it to be the damn truth. Because I've been standing right beside a guy that I thought was 10 times better looking than me, but the girl that was standing there behind the counter was flirting with me, not him.
Yeah, I'll tell you one thing I learned growing up, which I find pretty interesting, is one thing that a lot of ladies have always really, at least in my experience, have been really attracted to are the men who make them feel emotions, which is one thing that I see in a lot of videos. It's really two things when you want a woman. You have to make her feel special, and you have to make her feel emotions. And that's pretty much the backbone of most PUAs. Just whenever I listen to pickup artists, I just try to see if what my experience matches up with them. And oftentimes it does. It all boils down to exactly what I just said. You make them feel special, and then you make them feel emotions.
Well, now,
It's
I'm no PUA. I said this to you when we were before your microphone crapped out the other day. You and I are the
Yeah,
guys I would consider to have enough game to get laid if we really tried.
yeah, certainly.
And I've met PUAs. I'm no PUA. I don't care enough to go out and put myself out there to try to get laid. But I've seen PUAs that have a girl sitting on their lap within 10 seconds of talking to her. So it can be done. But that's just it. I mean, these guys, they've already done the research. They already know what women respond to particularly. And I've even met guys out there that say PUAs are ranked amateurs, which more power to you. If you're better than a PUA, go for it.
I mean, yeah, and one thing that I find interesting is the bad rap that so many PUAs get. I see even within in some MGTOWs, you know, they call them pussy beggars or pussy worshippers. Tripping over my words, but I find it interesting that universally these types of men are looked down upon. Like universally, lots of people dislike them. You know, feminists, even some MRAs, and I find it to be a little ridiculous. You know, because they're one. Some of them are I guess assholes. I mean, but I mean that's in any group really. You'll find shitty people everywhere.
Well, but that's just it. I mean, you were saying earlier about they come across as sleazy. That's how they market their product. I bet if you talk to them in real life, they would be cool guys. But now, you know, but see, here's the thing about people getting put down for this, that, and the third. You would get put down for being a virgin. I would get put down for being overweight. People are constantly looking for crap to put you down over. That's why my biggest thing is to preach to everybody that, look, the other person's opinion of you is only meaningful for what, the 5 minutes you're standing in front of them, talking to them. And if it hurts your feelings, well, good. They just struck a mighty blow to your ego. And whether or not you can get over that's on your head. But if you can take an insult from somebody and say, yeah, well, I didn't ask for your opinion anyway, and then go on and not even think about it for the rest of the day, who just won that confrontation? You did.
Yeah,
it's all in
your
pretty
much the best approach.
Like I had an argument earlier with a few people, and they were insulting the crap out of me. One came back later and mentioned that I'd posted some of their copyrighted material, and I was like, oh, well, if I'd have known you back then, I would have said something. And just so you know, it wasn't credited to you when I found it. And they were like, oh, okay, thank you. Just because I had an argument and an insult fest with somebody, does that mean I have to stay mad at them? No. Just because I disagree with somebody doesn't mean I hate them. On any subject, whether it's religion, feminism, whatever, I don't care. We can disagree all day long about the Bible. Being around me is like, if anybody's ever seen those old Warner Brother cartoons with the sheepdog and Wile E. Coyote. Morning, Ralph. Morning, Sam. And they spend the whole day, Wile E. Coyote's trying to get them sheep, and that sheepdog beats the hell out of him. Then at the end of the day, it's like, have a good night. See you tomorrow, Sam. Later, Ralph. And they'll part just like friends. It's like they spend the whole day beating the crap out of each other. And then at the end of the day, it's like, night, see you tomorrow. If you remember those cartoons, I might be a little old here.
No, I know. I get exactly what you're saying.
That's just it. A lot of people, once they disagree with somebody, that they hate them. And that's, you know, that's why, that's why male feminists particularly, like male feminists sexually fall into two camps as far as I can tell. The ones that are in it either to get laid or because they know that's how they can get laid, or the guys who are actually so genuinely afraid of women that they can't get laid and thus gripe about being 40-year-old virgins or virgins at 26 years old or whatever, because they're genuinely afraid to make any kind of moves that would get them laid.
Yeah, you know, and also I think on the one hand, we have to consider they do grow up with really shitty advice. You know, they if they spend a great deal of time around other women, and a lot of ladies aren't genuine. I think they just don't know. I don't think a lot of women lie about it. They really just don't know what they want. You can't really blame, I can't say half of them, but not all of them, for never having like any male guidance or ever having someone or ever stopping and really thinking about what's going on. Because logically speaking, you know, I mean, before you realize that women don't know what they want, you would think that they know what they want because, you know what you want as a man. You know, if you think logically, complexly, you would figure that other people would work like that until you learn that they don't. So if you
Well,
spend
that's
your whole
because
time listening to feminists, yeah, go ahead.
well, no, I was going to say that's because men work on logic, and regardless of our emotional state, we work on logic. So if making $10 for an hour's worth of work is what is good for us in the long term, that's what we're going to sink our claws into and hang on to it and ride that wave all the way in. While women are more emotional than men, I don't give a crap how many of these damn feminists want to give me that social construct bull crap. It's true. The way women's
No,
minds
it is
work,
true. Yeah.
the way women's minds work is on an emotional level. So what is good for them right this very moment may not be what they're thinking is good 5 minutes from now, or 10 minutes from now, or 20 minutes. And they're just riding that emotional roller coaster all the way to the finish, which is why, they talk about men being better at negotiating salaries. Well, that's why, because the man logically thinks, okay, this job, I'm not even rolling out of bed for less than $15 an hour. That's what they sink their claws in, and they hold on to that all the way through the negotiation.
Yeah, see,
Whereas
and that's
women
the
are like,
thing. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Did I wrap up?
No, you go ahead.
What I was about to say is you're absolutely right. Women are more emotional based creatures. But what I was saying with the male feminists is if they never learn that basic truth, the fundamental differences between us men and women, they're always going to be either afraid or just completely ignorant on what's the best approach to go forward and have these relationships. You know?
Well, and the funniest thing is these guys can insult me all day long. They can insult me to their heart's content. But at the end of it, all I can do is pity them, because they may feel big Billy Badass after insulting the crap out of me and getting the pat on the head from their feminist mistresses. But at the end of it, who actually won? Did she take you home and suck your dick? No. Did she take you home and have sex with you? No. You still a virgin at 42? Yes. Well, how can I feel anything but pity for that? I mean, they're on this Reddit that you were reading off in that video, griping about, I'm so lonely, I'm still a virgin at age 40 and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, dude, whose fault is that? It's yours. It's not going to hurt you to learn, like, you don't even have to go to a PUA, but observe, what do these girls respond to positively when you act a certain way or when you say certain things? How do they react? Do they give you that, shut up look? Or do they give you that, ooh, he's kind of manly? Because women like masculine men. Don't let a feminist lie to you. They like manly men.
Oh yeah, you can never escape that fundamental reality out the world. Oh, by the way, Yobi Axis says hi to you, Magnus. He's in the chat.
Hello. Yeah, shoot, I don't even have it pulled up. I should probably think about getting on that chat so I can see people when they say hello.
Yeah, I gotta know.
But yeah, no, I mean,
anyway, go ahead.
Well, and I agree with a lot of what some people say, and then I don't agree with a lot of what they say. I mean, it's just one of those things. Masculinity is not this act in a specific certain way. Masculinity is sort of a calm, sort of a,
more
I'm just
controlled way of dealing with things. Yeah, it's more of a calmer, controlled way of dealing with the present situation. At least that's how I always interpreted it.
Well, but yeah, that's just it. It's, you get these guys and they think they have to act like a dude bro to be masculine. No. The dude bro thing is for people who aren't secure enough in their masculinity just to be male.
Exactly.
I mean, yeah, like I just saw the chat. Jess McCoy says, one of the most attractive qualities about my boyfriend is his assertiveness and confidence. It's like, yeah,
exactly.
That's it.
You can't escape reality.
It's a man who knows where he's going and what he's doing. That's it. That's all you got to be, is a man who knows what he's doing with his life, with his day, whatever, and where he's going. That's it. That's it. That's all. That's masculinity in a nutshell. I mean, there's some nuance to it, but at the end of everything, that's all. It's all, like she said, confidence and assertiveness. You know what you want, you're going after it. Even if it's just a hamburger at McDonald's, you know exactly what you want, and you're going to get it.
Yeah, and that's one thing I had to learn growing up, especially when I tried to go on dates with ladies, they'd always ask me to choose where to go, what to do. And that's one thing. That's one reason why I was thinking of making the video about the male virgins is the fact that if you never really have anyone to teach you this, you either have to learn through experience, or you just go your whole life, stuck in the cave. You're just a prisoner, never understanding how the world actually functions. Because women, like, they
Well,
want to be led. They want leaders in their lives. And if you never learn that, you're always going to try to pussyfoot around them and give them what they say they want without, understanding the reality of what's going on.
well, and it's not even a man to lead them. It's just what it is it's not that they want to submit to you as in, oh, well, where do you want to go eat? What they're testing is to see is how confident you are in the choice you made of where you're taking them to eat. A lot of stuff women do is a shit test, as simple as that.
Oh yeah, that'd be the truth. Or that'd be a damn near. I forgot. I don't know where I was going with that.
I mean, I've even seen PUA videos where these guys are instructed by the instructors to, okay, tell her you're taking her to such and such a restaurant, and it's down 2 streets and over to the right, and it's like, and that's what they teach them is to, all right, come on, we're going to such and such, and it's not, leading them, like grabbing their hand, come on. It's just like you put your arm on their shoulder. Yeah, we're going to go to eat down here at this place, and you go, and they'll go with you. It's not forcing them to go. It's just saying it plainly. We're going to eat at this place.
Yeah, exactly. If you speak it into existence, I'm telling you, it's got no choice but to work. I mean, of course, you'll meet those feminists who try to deny reality. They exist, and you should avoid them. But for the most part, reality is.
That's exactly why I'm telling, any male feminist listening, look, it's not a matter of you're oppressing them. What it is they're looking for the amount of strength you have. Okay, yes, we're going to eat at this place. We're going to go this place. We're going to do this. We're going to do that. That's all they're looking for. They're not looking for you to grab her by the hair and say, come on, bitch, we're going to eat at the pizza parlor. No, it's just simple. How assertive are you? How confident are you in your choices day to day? That's what they're looking for. It's got nothing to do with oppression. You can be pro women's rights all day long, all you want to. But even in the stuff they say online, these women are trying to sound big and bad as feminists. But what do they actually respond to? I mean, is she putting down dude bros and masculine men all day on Twitter and then bouncing around in her bed with the nastiest looking dude bro you've ever seen in your life, douchebag supreme? What does she actually respond to? What are her actions? That's what you got to look for. Don't put stock in only about half of what they say and twice that stock in what they do.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things. You got to watch what they do and kind of just take what they say with a grain of salt. At least in my experience, that's what I've always had to do. Just take it, grain of salt, and really just watch what they respond to and how they react, and that's how you do it.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's not really that hard to deal with women. Like, I mean, I get away with making shit jokes all the time at truck stops in front of women. It's because I don't word it that way. It's like one of them will, they'll ring up my food and then look me in the face and say, would you like a receipt? And I look at them, scratch my chin a little bit, and I say, I don't think you'd like the condition I would bring that back in.
Yeah, man. Sense of humor is fantastic. Well, for anyone, really. I don't think anyone dislikes people with a sense of humor unless you're fucking Lacey Green or Anita Sarkeesian. But
man, I know me and you could probably both go on a half-hour diatribe about Lacey Green. She lies through her butthole at every opportunity.
It makes no real sense, But for the one lie Lacey said that's relevant, a little while back ago, I made a video. I think it was about masculinity, right? And I don't remember which one it was called because I made several. But where Lacey was talking about how women don't want an alpha male type guy. They don't want a guy who actually is assertive and all that. They want a guy who's nice and kind and all of that. You know,
Now,
if
you want me?
feminine men
Let me
with
correct. Let me
nice guy
correct what she
bullshit.
said there right quick. Let me correct what she said there right quick. When she said they don't want an alpha male or a guy that's assertive, what she means was she doesn't want the guy who's acting, who's a tryhard and acting like an alpha male. They don't want a guy who's overly assertive. Assertiveness doesn't have to be out in your face and up your nose. No, all it has to be is you're assertive in that you just say, all right, I'm going to the store, and you go. That's as assertive as you have to be. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all there is to it.
You're right.
And it's like I said, it's that confidence and assertiveness of you know what you got in your head, you know where you're going, and you know what you're doing. That's it.
Mm-hmm.
I mean that. Yeah, if people can see my picture, I'm not exactly muscle. Well, I'm muscular, but I'm not like, hard ripped abs or nothing like that. But I do get a lot of female attention because, I walk into McDonald's and I get that look from the girls behind the counter because I walk up, rattle off my order. I want this, and this to go, and this, and just bam, it's just right there. Just right out in the open, no questions. I already made up my mind when I walked in what I wanted. And that I get a positive response out of that every time.
Yeah. And that's the way the news goes, man.
Well, and the funny thing is, they talk about the whole alpha male, beta male dichotomy. Really, when you can't just look at a man and decide he's alpha or beta. Well, you can look at him, but I'm not talking about the way he looks. You have to watch him for a minute. Does he walk with confidence when he moves? Does he make deliberate strides? Does he walk to exactly where he's going? Or when he's even if he's got to look for something that he's looking for, is he looking around? Very deliberately. Most males, they're kind of, they hang back. You can't tell what they're after. They're just like, it's almost like they're not even sure what they're even doing there. And that's the alpha beta male dichotomy. The way people describe it is so fucking retarded. Pardon my language.
Yeah.
Pardon my language for
Oftentimes
those who for those
for
who
those
don't.
youngins.
But when you're with Magnus, you're always in the least safe space on the internet. That's my motto.
Yeah, I think the alpha beta male spectrum is really fucking confusing. Like I made a video about it like sometime last year about how depending on who you ask, some of the advice is contradictory to each other. So to one person, an alpha can have XYZ qualities, and to another, that person would be a beta. Right? If someone is calm, cool, and controlled and listens and let other people take control when they know what to do, well, then you can either be an alpha because you understand your limitations, or you can be a beta because you don't take control. It's ridiculous because it all just depends on the individual using that word, and it really doesn't hold a lot of water, and it's just kind of really fucking confusing. I think really the only reason to use alpha and beta is just to quickly understand, assertiveness and passivity, or like what's another word I'm looking for? Or subservience. I think that's only the real way you can use the two words to really define and describe men based on that. It really doesn't hold a lot of water because, as I continuously say, depending on the person, alpha and beta can contradict each other. So,
Well,
I don't
yeah,
really
and I
subscribe
may
to
have
it.
said about because alpha is a labeled trait given out by women. No, it's internal to the man. It's got absolutely. The only time women will give out that label is when they're trying to poison the well for a certain guy. They'll tell the other girls, "Oh, that guy's such a beta." Yeah. But really,
Yeah,
if another woman in that group watches you for any length of time, and she's like, "No, he's no beta. He's an alpha." Then there you go. That's why I say you actually have to watch people and how because just as one example, when I took a mentor company where to become an actual mentor to teach people to drive trucks. We had a little session where it's like, well, how would you introduce yourself to your student? I walked right in, shook hands, looked them dead in the eye, and I did what I would normally do. Said what I'd normally say, and that guy was like, wow, that was confidence right there. And it's like, well, okay, thank you. I didn't know what to say to that, because people normally don't point it out, but yeah, I know what I'm doing, and I know what I'm saying and doing at all times. Yeah, I may stumble across my words, but everybody does that. Uh-oh, still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
There he is. Yeah,
I'm still here.
Had a little tiff with your mute button, huh?
Yeah, but I think let's slide on back to the topic and chat about these male feminists, these virgins some more. Because I'll tell you one thing that being a virgin myself, it doesn't really bother me in any way, shape, or form of the word.
Well,
But I find it. Go ahead.
Heck, crap. That's just it, though. You're not bothered by the fact that you are a virgin. That's it. These guys are totally bothered by the fact. Like, I haven't had sex in quite a while, and yeah, fine, whatever. It's not a. Hang on a second. Could you talk? I got to answer this business call.
All right, go ahead.
Yeah, sorry.
But yeah, you can mute or what? Okay, so I think basically I pretty much get what he's saying. That what irks them or what bothers them about being the virgin, at least what I think it is the fact that the advice doesn't really work. It doesn't work as given. It doesn't work as what has been described. And I think that's what really bothers them so much. They be the perfect male feminist. They're kind, they respect women, which really, as me and Magnus said, is really more they're in fear and awe of women, and they do everything that they're supposed to do, and then they find out it doesn't work or it's not successful in any way, shape, or form. And I think that more than anything else is what bothers them so much. But the point of my video was to say that you shouldn't be bothered by that at all. You should learn the reality of the situation and learn to become a better man, and not really just for women, but for yourself. Most importantly, you should always seek to be a better person for yourself than to attract another person, because at the end of the day, you got to take care of you, and that doesn't mean that you be selfish, right? But at the end of the day, you have to continue to make yourself better and work harder, be more successful. So I'll just wait for Magnus to come back while I read some of these comments in the chat. Someone asks, why am I a virgin? It is because, well, that's actually an interesting story. Me and my sister, we did make a pact when we were younger that we would stay virgins until we got married. But my sister broke the pact. But me, I just don't care. I wanted to be with a woman that cares about me, and so it's not really a big deal to me. I really more focus on the personality and the woman I care about more than anything else than just having sex with her. So, like I've had opportunities, but I just I wanted more from it. Is basically what I'm saying. Someone asked if I am MGTOW. Technically, no. I guess more technically, yeah. I guess you could say I'm MGTOW 1.0, or maybe you can. But I'm not. I intend on getting married if I can find. I mean, if I don't get married, I'm not bothered by it. But if I find a woman, then yeah, I'll do it. But I'm not going to, close myself off from a relationship. So I guess no, I like MGTOWs. I like listening to MGTOWs. I think there's a great degree of information and knowledge, at least from the MGTOWs I listen to. They're really nice people, but I myself
I'm
not one.
finally back. Sorry, that was a business
Right.
call. They were going to ring my phone until I answered, so apologies all around.
All right. So Magnus is back.
Yeah, no, somebody MRA is different from MGTOW. Yeah, it's very. I could probably consider myself a men's rights advocate, But as far as an activist, yeah, no, I told Tyler Preston this a little while back. I don't consider retweeting a couple of tweets on Twitter to be activism. Not quite that lazy.
So there?
Uh-oh. Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, good.
I hope everybody heard me. But yeah, nah, it's yeah, MGTOWs, we just decided, look, you know what? We're going to do something else. Now, yeah, a lot of them are a little bit hurt feelings. There is that thing, red pill rage, for a reason. But it doesn't necessarily mean that they just absolutely hate women.
Yeah, I don't really think the vast majority of people hate women. I think it's just when you say a mean thing about a woman, people interpret it as misogyny or hatred when it's not necessarily the case. I do think some people do genuinely hate women, but that's usually because like a woman did something really mean to them.
Well, and Zebog said, I think I pronounced that right, as what are your standards for women you want to be with as MGTOWs? I think MGTOWs have a lot higher standards. That's another problem with male feminists, is their standards are like bottom of the barrel low. When you become a MGTOW, it's like, nah, I want a woman that actually treats me with respect, understands when I come home from work that, yes, I'm very tired. If I had a tough day, I don't want to hear a lot of griping, moaning, and complaining about the kids pooped on the wrong place in the toilet seat and da-da-da-da-da. And it's like, no, I don't want to hear that. I just got my ass beat at work because I had, like a steel beam damn near fall on me, and I had to jump to avoid it and crack my head on the wall and blah, 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 blah. It's like, no, yeah.
Yeah, you think
Everybody.
working to have a home of peace rather than go from one workplace to another where you got to get stressed out by mundane issues.
Oh,
Which I think is understandable.
I've seen that in cartoons before, where the dad comes home and it's like, why do I spend all day doing that at work? And then he gets home and the kids are like running wild and all kinds of shit. It's like, oh yeah, that's why.
Yeah.
I think that was actually a Foxtrot comic, to be more specific.
Well, I think it's a great deal of sitcoms nowadays where that happens, or at least some older ones. But standards for women, actually, I don't know. That's an interesting question. The way I interpreted it was a lot of men going their own way didn't have any standards for women at all because they didn't intend on being with them for a very long time, or at least not getting married. Some don't even want to cohabitate with women, so I find it strange that they would have standards for women they don't want to be with.
Well, yeah, they that. Well, look at how quick feminists jump all over a guy's shit if he has any standards for what he likes
Oh
in a
yeah,
woman at all.
that can be a whole radio broadcast live stream on its own. That's a ridiculous topic.
Well, yeah, no, I've got definite standards. Well, now as for body type, I'm decently. I'll date any girl as long as she's not like 400 pounds.
Yeah.
But I kind of at least want a cute face, a good personality, respectful of me just as a person, not just respectful of me when it suits her.
Yeah.
So I do have standards, but I'm a little looser in the physical standards than a lot of guys are. So I'm really
I think
not.
I probably fit that camp too.
Well, I mean,
I think there's
I've had a long, rich sexual history, and I've been with women of all shapes and sizes, and it's like, well, I've had some with, what a couple of 100 pounds, but they had a really cute face. I've been with some that had a smoking body, but she was a butterface. Everything looked good, butterface. So there's all kinds of women out there. They try to give you that rigmarole about, well, there's all different body types of women. Well, guys get all different body types too. So, that's if you once you understand that and quit being so damn picky about stupid stuff, well, then you can enjoy yourself.
Yeah, that's why I always say personality pretty much matters the most. I think when you actually find an individual that cares more about improving you or making your life easier versus someone that just wants to be validated, I think that's when you really can have a good functioning relationship going on. Because I've noticed a great deal of our relationships now focus more on people finding someone that just makes them feel good versus finding someone that seeks to help them be better and make their lives easier. Like I think just the other
Well,
day I was watching. Go ahead.
but no, I was going to say you brought up a valid point, and this is something I've said many a times. You guys are probably sick of hearing it by now, but I'm going to keep going. Self validation is what these guys need to focus on. Once you learn to validate yourself, then maybe you can have an easier time dealing with getting the date and all that. Because self validation, oddly enough, has been like the most important thing as far as I've seen in what I've done with myself, the improvements I've made on myself. Once I started learning that, okay, no, I don't need somebody else's validation. I need to validate myself and say, yeah, I am who I am. That's the end of it. Once you accept that, you're fine. It makes it
Yeah,
a lot easier to deal with other people, actually.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah, I think it's probably some of the best advice is to grow comfortable with the person you see every day, right?
Well, yeah, you got to look at yourself in the mirror every morning. If you can't do that, you're in trouble.
Yeah, and I think for a lot of relationships, too many people focus more on finding someone to validate them and make them feel good versus finding an individual that they genuinely get along with and actually want to help. I think the point of a relationship is to actually seek to improve each other and live an easy and good life, or find someone that supports you and tries to keep you safe or tries to help you with most of the things you want to deal with. And too many times people just kind of assholes about just kind of assholes about the people that they date or want to be with.
Well, yeah, well, and plus, when you've learned self validation, it's a lot easier for you to let other people's insults roll off your back because then you actually kind of understand that their opinion is only going to go that far. Once you leave and go somewhere else, if you're still thinking about them, that's on you. But you know, if you're only thinking about them while they're standing in front of you, well, then once you leave, they're out of sight, out of mind. You got more important things to do. That's where it goes. That is real life right there.
Yeah.
Well, like I've got, like when I was younger, I had the same problem a lot of these male feminists have, where somebody would insult me, like especially if a woman said some shit about me, it would be on my mind the rest of the damn day. I couldn't quit thinking about it, and I'd just get madder and more bent out of shape. Once I learned that art of self validation, it's like people would insult me, women, men, anybody, and it would just be like, yeah, whatever. And you just learn to take their freaking insults with a grain of salt, because what do they know about you other than what they see or what you just said? Are they
More
somebody
than
you hang
that.
around with a lot?
Yeah, and
Huh?
oftentimes I've noticed a lot of insults that come half the time aren't even fucking relevant to anything. At least in my experience, people will come throw out shit that didn't even make any sense. And I'm like, well, what are you talking about? What even, so when you learn to separate or look at things objectively, because here's one thing I've learned here
Uh-huh.
doing some of these YouTube videos is some people will insult me, but it'll be like some legitimate criticism that I didn't even think about. Once you learn to validate yourself and always seek to improve yourself, you can actually separate some insults from some mean comments that can actually, make you better, actually make you think about life a little differently, even though it came from a shitty person. So, I mean, not all insults are equal, is basically what I'm saying. You can always find something good out of something bad. At least that's how I look at life.
If you think my country accent's bad, mind out of sync, wait, I'll start singing Snoop Doggy Dogg in a country singer accent. Bow wow wow, yippee yo, yippee yay, where's my dogs at?
I don't know. I guess mine out of sync wasn't earlier because I said Magnus Deacon. I mean, Like, where were you? I'm pretty
I
sure.
don't
Isn't
know.
your name in the title?
Yeah,
Why do you keep
there
Why
it
do you
is.
keep
There's
asking me
Magnus
that
Deacon
question?
of Male Feminists.
I'm
I don't know.
confused. Why would you ask me that? The name is in the title. What kind of question is that?
Yeah, but basing my accent, judging me on my accent just because I was born in the specified part of the country where that accent is most prevalent.
I don't know. I'm confused why you even asked that question. I'm trying to figure that out.
Oh,
It's like
oh
walking
well.
into Walmart. What is this place called? Did you not see the sign? What the fuck?
Yeah, what? It's it's Wally World, man. What do you expect?
I mean,
I
that's like
don't get.
pulling. Like you pull up to McDonald's, right, with the big ass fucking M. Like where am I? What the
That would be
fuck?
like
Why would
rolling
you
into
ask that
McDonald's
question?
drive-thrus. That would be like rolling into McDonald's drive-thru and say, "Hey, man, let me get a Whopper."
Yeah, I mean, hey, I don't know.
But
All right, I'm done getting on you. That was a dumbass question, but let's get back on topic. It
I
was a
know I
dumbass
instigated
question.
it.
I mean,
I should have been nicer, but why not? But no, that yeah, I'm from the South. That's painfully apparent. But my accent is nowhere near as bad as some of the people I live around. They don't even close their damn mouths when they talk. They talk like this right here. It's real hard to understand what they're saying. It's like, was that all one word? What are you saying? But no, well, some think Jinkimi. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. Mentioned something about suicide, and it's like, yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if a lot of those suicide numbers came from um, male feminists getting to that point where it's like, well, I'm still a virgin, I'm 40 years old, time to end it, bang.
yeah, I've
I mean,
noticed that. Oh, go ahead.
you, like I said before, you read that one by the 40-year-old guy where he was talking about he's all lonely, 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 and it's like, well, if you don't enjoy your own company, then yeah, you are going to be a very lonely person indeed. My thing
Yeah,
is, I had to learn how to enjoy my own company. Once you do that, your life gets a hell of a lot easier, and actually, more people will enjoy your company if you enjoy your own company. So there you go.
yeah. M said 40 to 45 white male is a disturbing suicide trend. Like, it wouldn't
Yeah.
surprise me if that were the case.
Well, I mean, those guys are already past the prime of their life, and I don't know if they just don't see any possible way to keep going past that. Like if they get a divorce and they get cleaned out, or they get, because when you're 18 to 25, 30 years old, you're practically indestructible. Or at least that's the way men are viewed. That's not true that they're indestructible, but that's the way they're viewed. You're more prone to bounce back quickly from an injury. Whereas you start getting, my age, right around 40 years old, and you start having a little bit harder time. You sound like a bowl of Rice Krispies getting up out of bed in the morning, snap, crackle, pop. Yeah, but that's just it. These guys, and well, plus, people are like, oh, once you hit 40 or 45, your life's practically over. You're halfway there. It's like, no, not really. You just got to learn how to roll with it. See, that used to be a thing, was men learning as they went how to deal with, okay, I'm not as strong as I used to be, but I'm wiser. How can I use that, wisdom to make my job easier, where I can still do the job, probably even do it better than I used to without putting in as much effort.
Yeah. Uh, Gentleman's Fury asks, how do you guys feel about the theory feminists and MRAs see the same issue from a different view and call them other things? You want to answer that question?
Well, that's just That's just absolutely true. I mean, I've watched Twitter enough to see that they both have wildly different perspectives on it. I'm more prone to agree with the MRAs and the MRM on how it actually works, because oddly enough, their theories and way of doing things seems to be a little bit more based in reality, and I'm a big fan of reality because
Yeah,
I
to
live here.
me, it seems the MRAs are a little more focused on some things that are pretty serious and should be discussed. Like just a second ago, before we started this, I was watching this video on dress code for women, how that's sexist. It seems like feminists seem to talk about more mundane issues, while MRAs focus on some tougher, more serious life and death issues like male homelessness or men being incarcerated. Um, I don't know. I don't really. The only real similarities I've seen between MRAs and feminists, aside from just the similarities of being a fucking human being, like stupid people existing or bigoted people existing, is the fact that they focus on gender. I mean, that's really where the similarities begin and end. You know, for someone to say that MRAs and feminists are similar, I mean, it's like fucking human beings are similar. You're gonna find a feminist and an MRA who argue the same, but in terms of in principle, I mean, what are the issues they focus on and what they say? I mean, they're different ideologies. I can't even say the men's rights movement is an ideology. I don't really see any theories coming from the MRM. I just see more activism and more awareness going on there. From feminists, on the other
Well,
hand, they actually talk about a collection of systems describing that, you know, even gender itself is a social construct and it needs to be broken down. I don't really see any MRAs talking about how society hates men and treats men badly. I just see MRAs saying, hey, this is a problem. Feminists don't focus on it. Feminists aren't for equality. Here, you know, I see more activism from MRAs is really what I'm saying. I see more complaining about mundane things from feminists. So I don't really
well,
see the similarities.
that's really all the issues they have is mundane bullcrap. I mean, I watched the interview that Sargon of Akkad did with Aaron Pizzi, and that was one of the best interviews I've ever heard because she just laid it right out on the table. I mean, the problem with feminists is they want to erase the fact that women can be violent, that women can be nasty little shits just like men can. They want to brush all that aside and then, you know, act like it's all men's doing. No. I mean, I'm sorry. I've heard the legends. Some of the greatest ninjas in history apparently were women, and they
Yeah,
used their sexuality to assassinate very high-standing people.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
I mean, the guys had to be a little more physical about it, because what are they going to do? Show off a leg and get the daimyo to invite them up to their bedroom? No, women can. Men, not so much. Not unless the daimyo's a little funny.
But yeah, I don't know. I keep hearing people say that MRAs and feminists are the same, but I cannot see that. I cannot see them as the same people. Um, the only similarity I can see between MRAs and feminists is that they focus on gender. That's it. I don't know. I've never seen MRA talk about write a theory on how society oppresses men. I've never seen an MRA talk about an incredibly mundane issue like men cannot go into stores without a shirt on. Like they don't say that that's sexism. They'll use it as a counterpoint to feminism to say that, hey, look at how equally mundane this is. But I don't see them complaining about that. Whereas I see feminists regularly talking about how the dress code in schools is sexist, even though the dress code affects both girls and boys. I
Well, I mean, they give a lot of that shit about, oh, what, my yoga pants and spaghetti strap, halter top are distracting you. Yeah, about as much as Billy Dumbass sitting over there with the word fuck written on his shirt. Yeah, they're both distracting. Go put
yeah,
on some clothes, asshole.
yeah, exactly. And the dress code affects everyone. I mean, it's not even an example of sexism, and yet you'll see feminists talking about that like it's a huge problem. But I do not see MRAs discussing mundane issues.
Well,
I
those dress
just do
codes have
not
been
see
in
the
place since
similarities.
those dress codes have been in place since I was in school. There was a boy showed up wearing a shirt with a beer logo on it. They sent his ass home. A girl showed up wearing a damn see-through top. They sent her ass home. There was no difference between the two. It
Exactly.
was he was wearing an offensive logo or whatever label they'd put on it, and she was wearing a see-through top. So there you go. Neither one of them were acceptable dress. Now, if a girl wants to wear skin-tight jeans, fine, whatever. I don't know if that's a no-no in the dress code or whatever, but it's jeans. It's tight jeans, fine, whatever. If you can put up with feeling uncomfortable the rest of the day, fine, whatever. I never saw any of the girls get sent home for wearing overly tight jeans.
Yeah, they
You
just
know,
look uncomfortable as hell.
yeah, God, I wore too tight jeans one time and I regretted it the whole day. That was my fault. Wasn't nobody else's. It was mine. My bad choice. My bad fashion sense.
Right, but I guess again, to answer the question, no, I don't. I can't. Maybe I don't know. Maybe in my a limited experience of dealing with feminists and MRAs, I cannot say that they are the same people or they are similar outside of they focus on gendered issues. But they
Well,
outside
I
of
mean,
that, I cannot find any similarity.
you get crazy people in every group because
That's exactly you
I've
know
met some feminists. I've met some feminists who are decently reasonable, but they believe all the wage gap, patriarchy bull crap. And really, I feel more sorry for them than aggravated. It's just like, you really believe that?
yeah. Truth of the
And then,
matter is, I don't
well,
even hate shape or form. I just think they're wrong.
yeah. I mean, it's just, like I've had arguments with people before over like character names in a damn TV show, and they're trying to tell me it's something totally different from what it actually is. And it's like, well, eventually you're just like, okay, fine, just go find out for yourself. And then it's always funny when they're high and mighty to me, like, well, why don't you go look it up? I'm right. It's blah, blah, blah. And it's like, then I go and I'm like, okay, fine. I look it up. And then they come look it up and they don't ever mention it again because they found out I was right. They were wrong. Whoops.
Yeah, and that's the way the news goes.
Yeah, no, some people will be wrong and very vehemently so. And it's just like, okay, yeah, whatever. Just,
Yeah, and I
it's
think
minutia not even worth arguing about.
yeah, I think maybe that's what people are referring to when they say there's similarities between MRAs and feminists, which is really similarities between human beings in general. I mean, you're gonna find asshats. You're gonna find Christians who are asshats. You know, you're gonna find atheists who are asshats. You know, it's not that
Well,
Christians and atheists are the same people. It's that the same person can have different opinions on different things. You know,
well,
but
yeah,
a
no, when
jerk
I
is
was,
still a jerk.
yeah, when I'm wrong, Bob, I'll go ahead and say this out loud. When I'm wrong, I will admit to it. And I will be like, yes, I'm sorry. You were right. I was wrong. If you can prove me wrong, yes, I will admit to it. Because I
Yeah,
think I would rather take that opportunity to actually learn and grow instead of just being too afraid to admit, well, I was wrong.
yeah, and I
I
think
mean, I don't know.
that's the best
Well,
way
that's
to
just me.
go through life. To change and adapt when you find out you were wrong. And sure, it hurts your pride, but you're going to be a better person if you can get past that.
Well, it's a nice thing to have pride, just as long as it doesn't control every damn thing you do.
Yeah, exactly.
But
But I
that's
guess
just it.
go ahead.
That's just it. I mean, you get to the point where, like me, I'm an atheist. I've admitted it, but I'm not going to sit here and argue with people all day about Christianity. If you want to believe in the Bible, I'll even discuss it with you. Go nuts. Believe it all you want. I don't really particularly care because it doesn't unless you're trying to force them to teach creationism in school. I don't really care.
No, I don't
I
either.
just I don't have the time. I don't really have the time to care what people believe, what they like, what they don't like. I mean, in this world, and the trucking industry proves it beyond a shadow of a doubt. It takes all kinds. You know, there's people on YouTube that I really like that I don't agree with every word they say, but they say it and it makes me think about it. And then there's, you know, I might consider it and then be like, you know what? I didn't agree with this, and this, but they got a point on that, and that.
Yeah, that's exactly how I feel about a lot of people I follow on YouTube.
Well, and I mean, how many times people on here who know I'm an atheist? How many times have you ever heard me try to argue people out of their faith? Never.
Yeah. Exactly.
Matter of fact, here's a funny story you might get a kick out of. I used to have a friend who was a preacher. He loved talking to me because he would usually wind up basing every sermon that he preached off of what we talked about. Because I granted some sort of a unique perspective. He didn't agree with everything I said, but some of the things I said gave him ideas.
Yeah, and I think that's a perfect lesson for any male feminist that drops by. You know,
Yeah.
even if there's still some truth and knowledge you can get from people who don't, agree with everything that comes out of your mouth.
Well, but that's just it. You know, male feminists just need to learn the basic facts that, you know, don't sacrifice yourself and be afraid of women just because you think they're oppressed. Because honestly, in my opinion, nobody who lives in a first world country has ever or will ever know what oppression actually is. You know, a little discrimination from a job you're trying to get hired on at, that's not oppression. That's whoever you were trying to get hired on with being a dickbag, and chances are you could go down to their competitor down the street and get a job same day. So there's no such thing as oppression unless you've had somebody force you to your knees and put a gun to your head and tell you that if you don't lick their friend's butthole, they're going to blow your brains out. Yeah, you don't know what oppression is. You know what I mean?
No, I agree. I thought you had something else to say.
No, well, I usually end my end my comments fairly abruptly, but no, it's like, you know, these guys, what they really need to do is maybe just a dose of reality. Just people watch, which is what I enjoy doing. I watch people, you know, and see what they do, what they react to, how small of a problem gets them raging like crazy. You know, what do they say, and then what do they do? You know, if you watch people long enough, you figure out that's, well, to be honest, Jim, you know, male feminists will never get laid. No, some of them do. There are some of them that are just PUA enough that they know that parroting feminist bullcrap will get them in just right so that they can do their PUA crap and get these girls in the bed. I mean, feminists have bitched about that in videos.
I think it's hilarious.
Haven't you seen? I think you might have even done a couple of responses to videos where they've talked about that or been griping about male feminists who, you know, it just seems like you're out there to get laid, and it's like, well, no shit. That's what he wanted out of the feminist movement.
That's what I'm saying. You got to blame the sexual revolution for that one.
Well, and I keep seeing it cropping up a lot that, you know, why is it guys are praised for getting laid a lot, whereas women are shamed for it? Well, because a key that can open many locks is a master key, but a lock that can be opened by any key is a shitty lock. That's just the way it works.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not, life isn't rocket science. That's the whole point to it. Life is not rocket science, and these people seem to have a penchant for making it far more difficult than it needs to be. Far more difficult. Life shouldn't be that damn hard for people, but that's what they do. Dead air, dead air, dead air,
No, I'm
dead
here.
air, dead air. Dead. I'm just picking on you. Nah, but I think that'd pretty much do it.
All right. I think we said everything we needed to say.
Yeah, unless anybody's got any questions in the chat that they want us to address.
All right. Well, I'll give some time for people to ask any question. And while we wait, to anyone watching, if you made it this far, I'll say thanks for sticking by. My friend Bering, cartoon brown talking bear from Australia. How he got
I
there,
love
we know
Bear.
not. He actually has some pretty good music, and I really think that you should check it out. I'll probably put a link either in the comment section below or in the description or something. But I say, when you're done, check out Bering stuff. It's pretty good. I enjoy it. It's a little mixture of some high tempo stuff, some nice calm music to listen to. I think it's great. I think it's good stuff.
Well, there you go. Yeah, there's actually some pretty decent musicians I've met in MGTOW and MRA and stuff like that. Personally, though, I like Bering's videos.
Oh, I do too. I like the way he sounds. All right. One person has a question. It says, why do you think
Okay.
feminists don't address the real issues regarding feminism, such as in the Middle East or female genital mutilation in Africa, etc.? Well, I think I got two answers.
They do address those things, but they try to pass it off as this is happening in that country, therefore we over here in the West are oppressed because of that happening over there. That's the only time they actually address it.
Yeah, basically it's a talking point. I think I really think it's just they're just using it to take advantage of people's desire to protect women, because as those are serious issues, one, you don't need feminism to fix those problems. You don't ever really need to be a feminism or anything. You just need to be a decent person who wants to fix these issues. So really the only thing a label does is identify what you feel and what you believe in. But as far as actually actions taking place and dealing with problems, you don't need to be a feminist. So it's really just a talking point. And I think the second answer is they don't fucking care. If the biggest issue is the fact that you can't show your cleavage in the middle of fucking algebra class, then you don't have a problem. If your biggest issue is what some guy said hello to you on the street, you don't have a fucking problem. So
Exactly. And
really, it's a
Irish
talking
pug,
point, or they just don't care. Go ahead.
Irish Pug WTF says wearing a dress toxic masculinity. Ask Goodfella, he's Scottish, he could tell you.
Yeah.
Accursed Omega, with all the rape hysteria, how come the feminists don't talk about the rape wave in Europe? Because they've painted themselves into a corner with the whole, if you criticize Islam, you're a racist, and we live in a rape culture. They kind of painted themselves into a corner, so they're not exactly sure which way to go. Mr. Beard, do you think circumcision is equally as bad as FGM? I got a scar on my wing wong that says yes.
I don't know. I would say that it's worse. I think I don't really find any real reason for female genital mutilation. I
Well,
can
now
somewhat see.
here's the thing: the cells that form a man's ding-a-ling are the same cells in a packed bundle of nerves that forms a woman's clitoris. That's why they're equally sensitive. So, unless you're willing to shave off a woman's clit, why the hell would you be willing to shave off a man's foreskin?
Yeah, exactly. In this time period, there's no reason for either. The reason why originally people at least here's what I think, the reason why people did genital mutilation a couple 100,000 years ago was because it was really hard to keep yourself clean and they didn't want the foreskin to be infected. But that's not an issue now. So I'm not getting my son mutilated at all. My sons will never have to deal with that fate.
Well, actually, Norby Delta said Adam Baldwin account nuked. Thoughts? They better leave Breakdown the fuck alone.
I don't know what is he talking about?
Adam Baldwin. He was I can't remember the character's name on Firefly, but he was he voiced Breakdown in Transformers Prime. Leave Breakdown the fuck alone.
Oh, okay, I got you. But all right, I think that's it. I think that's the way the news goes.
Well,
You got any?
and that's
you got
the
any
news. What it is, what it shall be, what it was.
You got one final thoughts?
Nope. Just if anything, you guys probably need to follow my route. I am a CSA. I am a common sense advocate or activist, I should say. So
yeah.
Gentleman's Fury, I think, might have asked one final question.
What was the question?
Let's see if I can scroll. I don't know. How about the assumption men and women are the same? How does that reconcile with transgender? Men and women are not the same. That's what reconciles.
Yeah, it's patently absurd. The mere fact that you can differentiate a woman from a man shows that we're different. In fact, I'm not really even sure why there's a conversation on it. Go ahead.
As a matter of fact, if these guys are interested in it, I have 2 transgender women friends that I could get on your channel and they could talk all about it.
I mean, men and women are very clearly different if transgendered people exist. If there's no difference between men and women, then there'd be no need to transition into a different gender. You wouldn't feel like you were a different gender. If anything, transgender people prove without a shadow of a doubt that there is a difference between being a man and being a woman. If that be the case. So it's absurd. I mean, just basic observing of reality. You know, exactly what someone said, sexual dimorphism. I mean, indisputable. It's like fucking saying that air doesn't exist as you breathe it into your lungs. I mean, like saying that you don't drink water, right? Like it's absurd. So.
Well, and Simply Deep 504, what feminist-like movies do you hate the most? Like movies that would make the man the butt of all the jokes? Well, I don't really particularly pay that much attention to it. I don't really give a crap. But they tend to make men the butt of the jokes, and then some Norwegian woman goes on the news saying how men need to man up and protect the women folk from the evil Islamics.
Which is what, benevolent sexism, is it?
Yeah, I thought that was benevolent sexism. Deal with it on your own. What the fuck?
All right.
But I think that'll do it. I've pretty much said everything I think, unless we catch another question. But I think everybody's pretty well done.
All right, man. Well, Magnus, I appreciate you being here, and same to everyone else who slid by. So, as always, man, I certainly hope you guys enjoyed what we had to say today. And if you did, man, go ahead and click that like button. Go ahead and click that subscribe button. Comment in the comment box below. And as always, you guys have a great day. I will see you soon. Adios.
And don't forget, Magnus Hangouts, Saturday night, 7 o'clock on my channel.